Welcome to this explainer. Honestly, I'm so thrilled you're here with us today, because we're going to unpack something, well, something truly profound, the essence of life and legacy. Now, we're not just talking about what we achieved during our prime working years, or, all that physical, tangible stuff we just kind of hoard in our closets and garages. No, this is a deep dive into intention, time, and real human connection. Because let's be real, so often we just get completely swept up in the daily grind, right? The endless emails, the back-to-back meetings, the chaotic rush to get the kids to school. We just completely forget to zoom out. So, today, we're zooming out. We are looking at the very fabric of our existence and what it actually means to live a life of enduring purpose.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. What remains after we are gone? Talk about the ultimate existential hook, right? I mean, this question is posed right out of the gate in our source material, and honestly, it works beautifully. It literally forces us to hit pause on our incredibly busy lives and, well, reflect on our own mortality. We tend to avoid thinking about the end of the road because it's kind of uncomfortable. But facing this question head-on, it is an absolutely crucial prioritizing tool. It strips away all the noise, the trivial arguments, the endless pursuit of status, and just leaves us with the stark reality of how our daily choices leave a lasting impact.
Section 1. Defining the essence, understanding the core of our existence.
And that brings us right to our core definition. So what do they mean by legacy? It's defined here as the lasting imprint of one's actions, character, and shared values left behind for future generations, extending far beyond material wealth. This right here is our shared baseline for the rest of this explainer. Look, we are not talking about bank accounts, trust funds, or some massive real estate portfolio. Wealth, sure, it can be inherited, but it can also be squandered in a heartbeat. We're talking about something way more resilient. We're talking about the invisible yet undeniable weight of who you actually are. It's the specific values you embed in the hearts of others, the hard-earned lessons you impart, and that ethical standard you set for everybody who comes after you. Just consider this really profound thought from the text. We're the architects of our own memory and the minds of others. It's such a powerful idea, isn't it? Our essence is completely defined by our impact on those around us. I mean, you don't get to just hand someone a script of exactly how they should remember you. Instead, every single interaction, every critical decision, every word of encouragement, or even a moment of frustration, it's like a brick in the structure of your memory. People rarely remember exactly what you did, but they absolutely always remember how you made them feel. So in a very real way, you are holding the blueprint for that memory right now.
Moving on to Section 2, the building blocks, constructing a meaningful life.
Now, this brilliantly illustrates the tension we all face in modern life. On the left side, we've got short-term success. Things like material accumulation, individual accolades, temporary influence. It's that immediate dopamine hit of achievement, hitting the goal, getting the shiny new title, buying the fancy car, winning the award. And hey, it feels great, but it has a very short shelf life. Now contrast that with long-term legacy over on the right side. Generational impact, shared wisdom, and enduring inspiration. It's the vast difference between fleeting achievements that just kind of fade the moment you leave the room and true, lasting impact that echoes long after you've left the building. Essentially, short-term success is all about what you take from the world. Long-term legacy is entirely about what you give back to it.
So the big question is, how do we actually move toward that right side? Well, the material outlines 4 core pillars of legacy that are absolutely essential to build upon. First up is integrity in daily action. That means doing the right thing when literally no one is watching, over and over again, even when taking a shortcut would be so much easier. Second, unselfish contribution to community. This one is all about looking outward, solving problems that don't just benefit your own household, but actually lift up your neighborhood or your entire industry. Third is consistency of character over time. You can't just be a person of strong, admirable values on, say, Tuesdays, right? It requires deep, lifelong endurance. And finally, active mentorship and guidance. It's the literal act of actively passing the torch to the next runner, whether that's sitting down with a new hire, coaching a youth team, or just openly sharing your own failures so someone else can learn from them. These 4 pillars, they are the unshakable foundation of a legacy that actually outlasts us.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that out of all those pillars, there is a single unifying factor. Just one. To truly support those 4 pillars we just went over, you need one central purpose that guides all of your impactful decisions. Think of it as your vital North Star for intentional living. Without it, you might do good deeds, but your efforts are going to be scattered. But when you have that one central purpose defined, maybe it's something like to foster creativity in young minds, or to leave every environment healthier than I found it. Well, suddenly, all of those daily actions, those community contributions, and those mentorship moments, they align perfectly. They lock together into a cohesive, undeniable life story.
Which brings us to Section 3, Shaping Your Legacy, the Journey of Intentional Living.
Mapping this out chronologically offers a completely fascinating perspective. Look at Phase 1, from birth to roughly 25 years old. Here we are firmly rooted in the acquisition of knowledge. We're basically sponges, right? Learning, absorbing, making a ton of incredibly messy mistakes, and growing. We are just trying to figure out how the whole world works. Then we transition into Phase 2, from 26 to roughly 50 years. This is the pursuit of achievement. We're building careers, starting families, paying mortgages, and often frantically striving for those short-term successes we saw earlier. It's a really busy, exhausting phase. But notice this massive pivot at Phase 3, from 50 years and beyond, the transfer of wisdom. This is where the magic happens. The focus profoundly shifts from self-development and personal achievement to lifting others up. You go from being the warrior out on the battlefield to the general in the tent, advising the next generation. It's the ultimate realization of legacy in action.
So the crucial point here is this explicit 3-step process the source recommends for actively shaping that legacy today, no matter which of those 3 life phases you're currently navigating. Step 1, identify your core unshakable values. Like, what do you truly stand for when push comes to shove? You have to actually name them if you're going to live them. Step 2, align daily actions with those values. And honestly, this is usually the hardest part of the entire equation, making sure your daily calendar and your core values actually match up. I mean, if you say family is your core value, but you're working 80 hours a week and missing dinner every single night, well, there's a serious misalignment there. And step 3, evaluate your long-term generational impact. Before making a major life or business decision, stop and ask yourself, is this going to matter in 50 years? If the answer is no, it might not be worth all the stress.
And that leads into our final act, Section 4, the enduring impact, what lives on. Your life is the seed. Your legacy is the shade under which future generations will sit. Let the gravitas of that beautiful image just sink in for a second. It perfectly encapsulates everything we've talked about today. You aren't building a legacy to just sit back and enjoy the shade yourself. No, you are planting it, nurturing it, and watering it for someone you may never, ever even meet. It is literally the ultimate act of optimism and generosity.
And this is exactly why this matters and what you should absolutely take away from this analysis. Legacy is not just left at the end of a life, it is actively lived and chosen every single day. It's not some grand bronze statue unveiled at a retirement party, and it is certainly not just a line item in a will. It is the steady accumulation of 1,000 tiny, daily intentional choices. It's the patience you show a colleague who's maybe struggling to learn a new system. It's the unshakable integrity you bring to a really difficult project when cutting corners would be so much easier. And it's that hard-earned wisdom you freely share with a friend over coffee. Your legacy is being written right now, in the present tense. Which brings us to our final provocative thought. Based on this framework, what legacy are you building today? Not tomorrow, not next year, but today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you take this question with you, reflect deeply on your own life's work, and as always, keep learning.